Thank you, Erica. Thank you, thank you. And a big thank you to all of you organizers of this, the first National Farm Worker Health, the coordination of all of the streams coming together. Estamos unidos en los Estados Unidos. We are united in the United States. La unión hace la fuerza. Unity makes us all strong. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. The people united will never be defeated. And we are here especially this year to honor essential workers. If you're an essential worker, we're honoring you. If you're a farm worker, we're honoring you. You have kept us alive during this pandemic. La vida con la vida, life with life. It is a real act of heroism and of sacrifice. And we're here especially to honor those who gave it all. They have given their lives in this struggle. And we're working hard. We're going to continue to work very hard to reduce and eliminate the death due to COVID-19. But at this moment, we take this moment to be grateful, to honor and remember those who have given their lives, dieron su vida. I can think of so many good and dedicated friends. And they are not only in the beyond, they are right here too, en el corazón. That's why in the way of the farm worker, they have a beautiful word. It is called recuerdo. Recuerdo. Recuerdo means re, to go back, and cuerdo comes from cardio, which means the heart. Go back to the heart. And right there, you have the presence, the love of a departed one. Aquí en el corazón. Recordar es volver a vivir. To recall this with the heart is to live again. We have the word also in English, memoria, memory, remember. That's with the head. We remember, yes, with the head, but we also go back with the heart. And in the matters of life and death and life after death, the heart is the main vehicle. And that's why the way of the heart is the way of the farm workers. If you're going to go and work with the farm worker community, make sure you have a heart first. Because that's the way. And there is incredible wisdom. That's why they have so much resiliency. In spite of fighting the greatest injustices and inequality of any working field. And this has gone for generations. And that's why we renew our commitment to eliminate inequality and fight for a rightful wage for those who work so hard to keep us all alive. And in the way of the heart, there are three things that the civil rights movements a generation ago, when they were getting going, and the farm worker movement that came together, there were three things that they identified. Like, we're going to fight against this. And they were easy to remember. It was articulated by Martin Luther King, but he didn't come up with them. women came up with it and told him, you go and say this. And he was like, okay, I will say it. So we honor the wisdom of the women who were with him, who gave him these three treasures to identify what we are against. And it was poverty, and it was prejudice, and it was power that's toxic, power that's abusive, power that's unfair and unjust, toxic supremacists of any shape, way, or form. So they were very clear. We're going to fight poverty, we are going to fight prejudice, and we're going to fight toxic power. Wow, that was incredible. This was David against Goliath. And they kept going. And that was a whole generation. And that's why we honor our previous generation that lifted that banner and passed it to this generation. So just like they remind us, keep fighting against these three enemies. They are still there, and we're fighting them. But how do we fight them with? That's what I'm going to talk to you today. We're going to fight them with the three jewels of the farm worker's wisdom. There are three treasures, and I'm going to give them to you. The first treasure, diversity. Diversity, la diversidad, es nuestro verdadero poder. Diversity is our strength. We know how to be different and celebrate differences and unite differences. This has been going on for many generations, and we're here to defend it and promote it and to push it forward. Many of the illnesses we suffer today are due to the lack of understanding of the power of diversity. And that's why it was not unusual for the farm workers, when they came together, that they said, okay, let's find some song that will unite us and will give us a sense of hope and purpose. That will be our anthem. And they came unofficially with this song that we sing, Claro que sí. And it goes like this. De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajarillos que vienen de fuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. De colores, of colors, of many colors is life. And I love life, says the song. And the song is in Spanish, yes. And it's good to speak several languages. That's another teaching in the farm worker movement. We hear the multiplicity of voices. And now we know, thanks to our research at the University of California in LA, that if you speak more than one language, you if you were to have Alzheimer's, you're going to delay Alzheimer's by 17 years. Woo, there you have it. So we have a medicine against Alzheimer's. You know what's the medicine? Hola. Habla español, no le saque. Don't be so close-minded, because the moment you speak another language, new synapses, other parts of your brain unfold. And the language also, it's a way of looking at the world. So congratulations to all of our bilingual and multilingual community members and providers and farm workers. The diversity of languages enriches the human soul. And we honor our diversity with the power of cultural wisdom. This is the real jewel of the farm worker movement, in which we have seen that there are 4 dimensions to life: consciousness, conduct, culture, and community. Easy to remember. They are the 4 C's, and they are the same in English as in Spanish: conciencia, conducta, cultura, comunidad. Easy to remember, because you have 2 storages. If I forget it in Spanish, it's in English. If I forget it in English, it's in Spanish, and then I can make them circulate again. It gives you an extra resource. So consciousness, conduct, culture, and community. This will make your diversity, awareness, and work so rich. And if you follow this in your work and in your life will find more fulfillment and balance. Conciencia, consciousness, because it all starts with the mindset. And having the right mindset is essential to live a strong and resilient life. And if you want to meet somebody really resilient with their mindset, look at the farm worker movement across the ages. They overcame so much, and they are so generous, even when what they have may be so little. So they are masters at making a lot with a little. And not like many of our leaders who have made out of a lot, a little. They have a lot, but they only give a little. The way of the farm workers is solidarity. The way of the farm workers is donde come uno, comen dos. The way of the farm workers is where one eats, two eat. It is the solidarity with the tortilla. Just look at the tortilla. You go like this. I salivate. They're not clapping. They're making tortillas. And you get there, they just put a little bit and orale. And everybody can eat, because everybody gets a taco. You just get a lot or a little, but you get your taco. They are masters of using their mind in the best way possible. And conduct. There are certain behaviors that we consider sacred because they are part of the ritual of life and living. And they will emphasize that. So in the farm worker world, they will tell you, que bien educado, how well educated is this child. And when they say well educated, they are referring to their attitude, to their manners, to the way they go about their life. That's how you show your education. Some of us may be confused because some of our leaders have not displayed respect in the way they go about life. But for the farm workers, respect is the way. El respeto es el camino. El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. To respect the right of the other human being is peace. This is the way of the farm worker. So in our behaviors, it's very easy to remember respect, respect, respect. And that is how you open doors, and that's how you maintain relationships. Es una persona de respeto. You're a person of respect. And then the other one that they like to use es una persona de palabra. That's a person who has a word. They're honorable with the words. They're impeccable with the words. They speak truth. Dicen la verdad. They just speak truth to each other. They speak truth to power. That is conduct. And the more conduct we share with these wonderful values, the better life becomes. And the third C is culture. We have to become proficient in understanding the culture of the people we work with and we serve. And there's a culture very rich, and that is the culture of the farm workers. I was talking with my uncle Felix, who was turning into his 90s, and he was telling me, Roberto, I closed my eyes and I remember being 3 years old and being with my grandfather. And my grandfather was turning 100 years old, he told me. Wow. And then he told me his name of his grandfather. And then he said, Roberto, between the three of us, you, me, and my abuelo, were older than the United States. Yes, 3 people. And then he told me, and do you know how long the movement of the farm workers has lasted? And then he said, over 10,000 years. It's actually 10,500. Because that is as old as the first seeds of corn that we have been able to find. That's only what you can prove. It may be even older. But they have proven already these seeds are over 10,000 years. And they have a secret. They cannot grow this way without the farm worker. So the farm workers, my friends, in this American continent have been here over 10,000 years. And they have traveled from the south to the north and from the north to the south. They have been migrants all of this time. So we have had migrant people, migrant health for over 10,000 years. That is as old as they are, and they remember the ways of the earth are very consistent. It behaves the same way. It teaches you the same lessons. The way of the earth is the way of life. And that is the way of the farm worker. And we have to listen to them, not just to the work they do, but the philosophy by which they live, because they are reminding us, take good care of our mother, which means the earth. That is the culture by which they look at the earth as our mother. In the old languages, they call her Tonantzin. Tonantzin means our mother. And they treated her with this love and this devotion. And if you treat her with love, she gives abundantly. And if you're unfair and abusive to her, she tries to defend herself like she's doing due to the horrible abuse that humans have done of the planet for so long. So the voice of the farm workers are telling us, remember, the earth doesn't belong to us. We belong to the earth. Be good to your mother. And by getting in tune with that spirit, you live a healthier and more beautiful life. That is the power of the culture. And we should listen to her because she also tells us the way that they heal themselves. And it is by going to their herbs and their plants and their wisdom that they have used for thousands and thousands of years. And there was a confusion. My ancestors are Maya of the region of Itza, and they were actually the first ones to see the Europeans who came to the mainstream continental American continent. And they look at them, and the ones from the other side of the world look at them. And the ones who were just arriving didn't know where they were. So they asked in their language, ¿Cómo se llama este lugar? How do you call this place? And my ancestors, the Maya, to say, I understand, you say Catan. And to say, I don't, you say Yuk. So they said, Yuk Catan. I don't understand what you're saying. And the Europeans thought, oh, the name of this place is Yucatan. And then the people of this land, they were trying to describe, because they knew this place. They lived in this place. They had named this place. And when you name the place in the old languages, you find a lot of words that use the term Tlan. Like Mazatlan means, Mazat means the deer, and Tlan means the place of the deer. And they said, you go all the way up north, and you're going to find Michi Tlan. Michi is the name of a fish that has tremendous richness and good energy. In Michoacán, Mexico, they still use it to restore their energy, el caldo Michi. So they call that place Michitlan, Michitlan, the land of Michi. And because the Europeans couldn't pronounce, they called it Michigan to this day. But the older people, they remember the names because they use those names to define these places. And that brings a tremendous amount of wisdom. And that's why it's so important to listen to the people who have been here the oldest. They are the keepers of a great wisdom. And among them, we find the extraordinary tradition of our farm worker communities. And last but not least, we already saw consciousness, conduct, culture, and we have what? Community, just like in community health. And the community means I bring myself, you bring yourself, and we have something in common. Our unity can be made from ourselves to each other. And that is with honor and respect we make the circle of life, where every voice can be heard and every heart can be lifted. The farm workers know how to build, protect, nurture, and heal the community. It is the power not just of me, but the power of we. We is the word. And if there's one lack of balance that we have seen in America, is that it has gotten too much me and not enough we. We need to people to learn that yes, when you're a little boy, a little girl, you are the center of the universe, and that's great. You're egocentric. But then you grow up and then you have to be centered in the circle of life, the community. Because if not, you become narcissistic and self-centered and selfish. And then you run for president and ruin the life of everybody. So what we want is let's raise good human beings, then they can run for whatever they want. And the way you do it, you start by being the center, but then you realize the circle is the center, and I'm going in the circle. And I was born, I was a young person, I'm an adult. If I'm lucky, I will be an elder, and then I will move on. And that is the circle of life. It is what the Native Americans call the medicine wheel. The children the teenagers, the adults, and the elders. And we need you all. We need the children, and we need the teenagers, and we need the adults, and we need the elders. We need you. And in America, we have to learn how to age with grace, how to become a meaningful elder and live in plenitude. And our ancestors discovered this principle generation after generations. And you know what? We're the first generation who has lost touch, mainstream, about these incredible teachings. And that's why we need to listen again to the message, to the wisdom of our people, the farm worker heart. And they told us, if you're going to go through the circle of life, you're going to have to fulfill 4 purposes. When you are a child, to live and live fully. And no one can help you live fully like grandparents. The parents will discipline you, but the grandparents will love you. That's why we need the grandparents. We don't need them in their nursing homes. We need them with their children to spoil them and to give them unconditional love. So the child live. When you're a teenager, learn. Learn. It is your time of learning and study. And when you are an adult, to love. And the language of love is profound. It's when you learn to put yourself but the other person too first. I put you first, you put me first. What a beautiful thing. And this was modeled in the pyramids of the oldest building built in America, American continent, which it is in Mexico. And it is the pyramid of Teotihuacan. It's thousands and thousands of years old. And you see the one of the sun, and you see the one of the moon. And if you go and stand at the top of one, and if you go and stand at the top of the other, you're exactly the same height. That means even, that means fair. And that is the message. If you're a couple, pareja means fair. It means no one is above the other. They enrich each other. It is interdependency. America is wonderful for independence, but it sucks at interdependency. One of the beautiful things that the farm worker wisdom has to share, America can learn. And that is the art of interdependency and balance in life. So yes, you fulfill your circle of life as a child living, as a teenager learning, as an adult loving, and as an elder with the L of legacy. This is my legacy. This is what I leave behind. And if you're working with elders, they are already looking back. They are seeing what they are leaving among us. That is their will. That is their soul. That is their heart. And we need to be more dedicated to treasure the blessings of our elders, because they are so rich with experience. And you know, the word for the experience of the ancient Mexican farm workers, the Toltecs, is chipote. Chipote is experience, but chipote also means bump in the head. And the elders, they have many bumps, and they're going to tell you, okay, you better watch out for this, watch out for this, watch out for that. They have all of this wisdom, all of this experience to share with you. That is their legacy. And I invite you in this moment to think of all of those people that you have had around you who have passed, and they are still in your heart. And you're going to be grateful for the teachings, for the wisdom, for the chipotle that they shared with you. So in this moment, we thank them in our heart for being in our lives and for leaving us their wisdom. So my friend, you and I were going to make sure that these teachings remain by using them in our own lives and in our own work. So we are going to promote and protect and nurture lives of fulfillment that complete the 4 L's in life, that every human being aspires to fulfill, living to their fullest, learning to their fullest, loving to their fullest, and giving us the full of their experience as their legacy. That's how we find transcendency. Transcendency, the art and science of going beyond myself, of leaving my ego behind and fulfilling the way of the Spirit. And we have completed the first of the 3 U's, the one of diversity. We did it with cultural wisdom, consciousness, conduct, culture, and community. And some of you, I can feel you. You've been writing, oh my God, I want to take notes. I have a good surprise for all of you. We have prepared a website called Maraca Keepers. Maraca means rattle, like the one I have right here, maracakeeper.org. And in that website, I have uploaded a book, Thinking of You, Community Heroes. This is your book. It's for free. You go there, you download it, it's yours. And in this website, we have put a set of activities and practices of well-being and sharings for these difficult times of fighting the pandemic of COVID-19. So I see you right there in our website of maracakeepers.com. And it is there, my friends, that you're going to see the other 2 pillars. The one of empowerment. And the second one, resiliency. These are the 3 jewels: diversity, empowerment, and resiliency. And empowerment was literally the slogan used by the farm workers, "Sí se puede." Yes, we can. Sí se puede. And they credited Cesar Chavez with it, but actually it was Dolores Huerta who said it. And sometimes we had the belief that behind a great man, it's a great woman. That's a saying that people have been saying for a while. Well, there's a saying also, not only behind, but at the side, and not only at the side, ahead of a great man, it's a great woman. Whew. And this is the cycle where the women are leading, as they have been leading across the ages. And we will do well in honoring the great dedication that the women have had in our movement and their great contribution in these difficult times where we cannot hear each other. The female wisdom, the ancestral wisdom of women, is the salvation for humanity. Because they listen not only to the head, they listen to the heart and to the soul. So feminist women we need, and feminist men, because it's good for our health and for our lives. And it is what makes sense to the world. So in the way of Si Se Puede, empowerment. How do we empower each other? This was used a generation ago to teach the farm workers how to organize to their fullest. In those years, they call it razalogía. Razalogía, the science of the people. And in the science of the people, you will see it in your book, Community Heroes. They spoke of 4 components. La experiencia, experience, because experience is our school. So we value the experience of each member of the circle because the experience is based on life and they can help us with their experience. So listen to the experience of the people. The second principle was knowledge, to know, and to know the experience of yourself and to know the experience of the people. So Columbus thought that he discovered America. The experience of the people is, you were lost, dear Columbus. We have news for you. And we have had a system of education that only listened to this side and was not valuing the experience of the people. So to make more balanced work, we have to start with the experience and the experience of the people and knowing about that experience. The third component, we already have experience, knowledge, is trust. And trust is essential, la confianza. How do we go about building trust with each other? And once you build this trust, that trust is sacred. And if you're not trusted, then the people are not going to let you in. But if you are trusted, the people will open the doors, not only to their homes, but to their souls, to you. And they will say, mi casa es tu casa. If you're coming the right way, I open the doors. If you're not following a good approach, people are going to shut down. And that's why it's so important to be masters of the open sesame, masters of building trust. And yes, that is the trust that both have to fulfill, the person receiving, the person giving, the person providing, the person in need of help. Build trust, my friends. And trust is built by taking time and listening to each other. How do we listen? People in America are very good at talking, but not very good at listening. So we have to practice listening skills. In China, the most famous statue is of a lady, and she's doing this movement. And she's the most popular statue all over. Not even Confucius or Mao Zedong are that famous. And when you ask, who is she? They said she's the goddess of medicine. And what's her name? Kuan Yin, they say. And then they translate it for you. Kuan Yin means the one who listens. The one who listens is the one who gives the medicine. And I've been to clinics sometimes and nobody's listening. And I said, there's no medicine at the clinic. They said, no, we have plenty of drugs. I said, you have drugs, but you don't have medicine. Woo-hoo! Medicine is more than drugs. It is the spirit with which you do things. And blessed are the ones who listen, because those are the ones providing the first medicine. So listen to the pain and the cry of the people. The cry of the people and the cry of the earth have become one. And in the farm worker community, it's easy to see who does it. Las comadres, they are the godmothers. They get together. And when one woman was in distress, she will call her comadre, comadre. And the comadre will drop everything and they will go to the most sacred place of the house. That's the kitchen. And then they will sit down and make coffee. And then they will sit down. And the one who called knew that she was going to talk. And the one that was called knew that she was going to listen. And they will sit down, and the one who's listening is listening with their eyes too. They're looking at the other. You're going to work with the farm workers. Nonverbal language is 80%. 80% nonverbal language. You have to pay attention. So don't get distracted with your phone. This is not very good for communication when you are with people. So you put it aside and you pay full attention to the nonverbal language of the other person. They tell you everything with their face. They tell you everything with their body language. So the comadres will sit down and one will be looking at the other. And the one who was called will begin with these sacred words. Cuéntamelo todo. Tell me everything. You know what's the first question in America in clinics? Do you have insurance? So for some people are like, oh my God, that's the first thing you ask. But imagine the relief that a person feels if they see somebody who cares. That's where care comes. Not from places, but from people. I care. This is health care. This has a human who cares. So they are caring, listening to you, and they tell you, tell me everything. Cuéntamelo todo. Tell me everything. Well, I'm a psychologist, my friends. And I can tell you after 52 years of experience in this path, that if you have somebody to whom you can tell them everything, you have the best mental health system in the world. That's the beauty, to have somebody you can talk to. And that's how care was provided first. Cuéntamelo todo. And then the other person will start talking. In the ancient healing ways of the curanderas, the traditional healers, they said that the one who comes with pain and sorrow carries water, agua, water. And the one who provides the healing has to use fire, the heating element for the water. So you have to bring your fire to the other person, and they put out their water, and the healing is not complete until both are fired up. Not burn out, but burning up. And when you see the rise of energy, and sometimes it takes a while, because when there's overwhelming emotions, the symbol of emotions is water. The first act is to undrown, to release the excess of water. The farm workers call it desahogo. Desahogo. To undrown. You undrown yourself with the other person. And when you release all of the water, you pull the good air, and with it, the fire in your eyes lights up again, like the beautiful sunshine that I have behind me. That is you. After you have cried, there's a clarity in your eyes. There's more room in your chest, and you bring the healing air back. And when they make this, el suspiro, the traditional healers, the curanderas, told us that's when the soul returns completely into your body. What a beautiful thing, el desahogo. And when both of you are on fire, only then the person who was called would say, ¿Y qué vas a hacer? That's how they will close the dialogue. ¿Qué vas a hacer? Which means, what are you going to do? Let's have a plan. And that's why it's so important. If you know the culture, you follow these steps. Listen, allow the undrowning, and then put the information about a plan of where we're going to go with this. And that is how we complete our great power of empowerment. Experience, knowledge, trust, and that's power when you are fired up. We close with these words, my friends. the ones of resiliency. How can you become more resilient? The ability to bounce back. You apply the 3 R's. Relax. We must learn how to relax. And in the website, Maraca Keepers, you're going to see Cesar Chavez doing yoga. His secret weapon was that he practiced yoga every day to be a leader with relaxation. So relax, release, let go, recharge, and only when you are recharged can you recreate the world. And we recreate the world with art. And believe me, as hard and difficult as some conditions are for the farm worker community and the essential workers, you always hear where the farm workers are. Even in the midst of tornadoes and storms and fires and COVID, because there's always music where the farm workers are. And they always find a way of bringing their sacred humor. Humor is medicine to their circle. Because as the Maya said, to lose health is to lose a lot. To lose money is to lose something. But to lose your humor is to lose it all. So it's important for us to take care of our good humor because that is the spark of our health. So release comes right after relax. Relax, release, recharge, and then recreate your art. And that's how we complete the 3 jewels: diversity, empowerment, and resiliency. And to send you in a beautiful day for the rest of the day and your journey in this beautiful, beautiful week for awareness for our farm workers and essential workers, I want to close with a song and invite you to sing it. This song is in English. We all can sing the song. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, no, I won't be afraid. I won't be afraid. It's as long as you stand by me, darling, darling, stand by me, stand by me. It's as long as you stand by me. If the sky will look above, tumbles and falls, and the mountains are washed to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, I won't shed a tear. Yes, as long as you stand by me, darling, darling, stand by me, stand by me. Yes, as long as you stand by me. Yes, as long as you stand. We stand together, stand by me.
oh my. Dr. Roberto Dansie, everyone. I don't know about you, but I've got tears in my eyes. And I'm just so overjoyed, overwhelmed, and so empowered. What a powerful, powerful message. What a great song to end this conference on. I really am looking at all these notes that I have that I'm supposed to be reading and to go forward and ask you questions about. And I'm like, why? We really need to just end it on this note, but I know we have protocol. But I'm sure you're hearing the applause across the whole country. All of us are excited to have heard such a powerful speech from you. And just knowing that you have so many great nuggets that you dropped today for us. And I started writing them earlier, and obviously there's not enough room to keep up with all of these great nuggets, but I'm hoping each of you were able to take away a lot of great things that you can utilize in your everyday work. And so I do want to open up the floor now for questions and answers. If anyone has a question that they would like to submit, we've got a couple in the chat that I'm going to go ahead and start with, but feel free to start submitting those in the chat as we ask. But the first question that we have for you, Dr. Roberto Dansie, is that how do we balance speaking truth to power and challenging systems while also protecting our own health and energy?
That's really important. You see, one of the challenges that we learn from previous generations and previous leaders is that they used to go out there and used to speak truth to power, but for some reason this was so demanding that they were not able to fulfill taking care of home or taking care of themselves. And that's why it's vital that we do it with balance. And balance is always done better when you put your intention to it. So I recommend everybody to put 3 intentions: work, yes, home, self. Those are the 3. And like my grandmother used to say, where intention goes, energy flows. It's easier if you write it down, because then you say, oh, I have to take care of yourself. Now, if you happen to have an elder around there always telling you, hey, take care of yourself. Before our program, I was talking with our dear friend Heather, who's helping us do all of this, and she was telling me, oh, yes, my Grammy still calls me early in the morning to wake me up and tell me to take care of myself. What a beautiful thing to have elders who remind us self-care is vital. Care for the house, vital, and care for work. This is the triangle, and this is our intent.
Awesome, awesome. And we have just another question, and I think the rest of them are comments that I'll share with you. But this next question is, what's the secret to keep going when you're so tired?
Yes. One of the key things that I have learned, my friends, is a principle. Energy is contagious. So if I'm burning out, I don't really need to be around somebody who's also burned out. And sometimes all of my co-workers are burnt out. And I remember the day when I got my charge back. I was doing my art therapy. I was inviting people to substance abuse talks. And I was doing it in this bench. And a little kid, he came and he told me, Roberto, what are you doing? And I said, substance abuse talks. And he's like, oh my God, I thought you were going to do something good. And I said, what do you want? And he says, I would like for us to do martial arts. And then I said, you know, I know martial arts. And he says, oh, you know martial arts? And they said, I will teach you. And then I told him, I will see you tomorrow. And I went the next day and 42 kids were there with little Juanito. I had the biggest impact in the community because I was motivated by another member of the community whose light came back to his little eyes. And when I was teaching them, I noticed that his spark had come back to me. Sometimes even your clients can give you back that spark if you are open to it. So you can find it in the most unusual places. So take advantage. Everybody can light their candle with my light and they don't take it away. So if you're without light, don't hesitate to go with somebody. Tell them I need to be around you just for a moment. And people are generous, especially in this field. They will say, oh, no, come on, yes, let's hang out, let's talk for a little bit. And those moments are moments of restoration. So keep your eyes open and ask, because where you ask, you receive.
Awesome. And folks, if you can hold on with us for just a few more minutes. Yes, we're going to try to get through some of these comments and the rest we'll send to you, Dr. Dansie. But we do want to announce with you all the winners of the big prizes for the entire conference. So if you can just hold just maybe 5 more minutes, and we'll share some good news with each of you. And so just to share really quickly, because there's quite a few great comments that I did want to mention. A lot of folks were excited about this presentation today and a lot of encouraging words. And so one of the commenters said that we need your words of love, compassion, and healing to help the children coming along, crossing up to 2 borders to get here and being held in ICE detention centers. Another great comment is that this inspired me to think more about my role as a community health worker as not just service oriented, but how organizing is an important part of the role and it is intertwined. And then the last one that I'm going to read out is, I totally love this presentation, and I echo that as well. We need more of this in our world, and God bless all of our essential workers, all of the organizers for this really great forum, and thank you for the opportunity to participate and learn. So I don't see, I've got a ton of questions, of course, now. Can we post the website to get to the book? So the website, yes, I will put it back up here in just a second. It's maracakeepers.com, where you can download the free book. And there's another comment more so about, oh, no, I'll send that to you. It's just a comment. But yes, thank you all for sharing your comments, sharing your questions in the chat. Thank you again, Dr. Dansie. I hope that each of you have enjoyed your time with us this week. We've enjoyed you. Many thanks coming from our partners at North Carolina Community Health Center Association, the staff there, Northwest Regional PCA, and then the National Center for Farmworker Health. We have been eager to get to you all this week to share all the great work that we put together to show you our speakers and our presenters from across the country. And so without holding you up any longer, we have the big prizes for all of those that were able to participate in the different challenges throughout this week. And so our first winner of a NAC complimentary registration for this year's conference is Amy Shepard. She is from the Connecticut River Valley the CT River Valley Farm Worker Health Program at Massachusetts League of Community Health Centers. Amy Shepard, you have won a conference registration. And then our second winner for this is Sophia Flores. She wins a complimentary registration to the Northwest Regional PCA Conference. And you'll get updates. Let me just say this. You'll get your updated certification and also the dates for all of these conferences once we connect with you. So we don't have those dates right now, but we'll share them with you once we get your information. So our next winner for the North Carolina complimentary registration for what we call our East Coast Forum is Delphina Reyes. She's from One Community Health. And then our last complimentary registration coming from our lovely partners in Texas for the National Center for Farmworker Health is going out to Mara Galindo. She works with the Altura Centers for Health. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all of our partners being able to provide these free registrations for these upcoming forums. We're really excited about the planning for next year and staying hopeful that we'll be able to meet in person for some of these conferences, safely in person, that is. Thank you again to all of our interpreters, our event staff, the track planning committees who helped plan this content again. Everyone that was able to log in and register for this conference. We could not have done it without you, and we were able to exceed our 1,000-person goal. We were at 1,200 folks the other day, so we're excited about that. And we want to make sure to thank our sponsors as well. If you have not completed your CEUs, please visit the attendee hub and complete the appropriate forms for your CEUs. You want to make sure you get your credit. And then lastly, our evaluation for today's session and the overall session was emailed out to you in your virtual day 5 mailer. So please, please, please reference those documents, utilize the attendee hub. Please share your attendee hub information with your colleagues so they can view some of the links on this from the conference as it was recorded. And we'll hope to see you all again in a few months in a great forum somewhere in a city near you. And if you can, just follow us and stay connected here. We do want to recognize that it is National Farm Worker Awareness Week coming up, March 25th through the 31st. It kicked off yesterday. We have a ton of great things that are happening. This is a day of action or a week of action for students and community members, and we want to make sure that we are a part of that movement, being a part of the different forums across the country. So visit their website for the details, farmworkerawareness.org. And again, visit each of the different organizations that hosted the conference this year. You can visit us on Facebook. You can visit us on Instagram, also LinkedIn and Twitter. So please stay connected with us. Please go out and do some great works and post those things and tag National Farm Worker Awareness Week if you can as well, and give them some love and show them some love for the different activities they have going on. So again, we thank all of our keynotes, closing speakers, and attendees, and we just hope to see you all again. Stay safe, stay loved, and enjoy your families. Bye.